The story begins as a man and woman are on a date. The two prepare to toss themselves into a powerful river and they tie themselves to each other so they can be together forever. However, in a cruel twist of fate, the evil truck comes out of nowhere to drive through the forest and take them both out. Moments later, our protagonist, Da, wakes up and is shocked to see what heaven looks like. A woman explains that this is not heaven and she is a guide to those that descend upon this world. Her name is Annette and she reveals that Da was chosen and transported to this new world. A fearsome dragon flies by as Annette explains that this world is shrouded in darkness and Da was chosen to be a hero who brings light to this world. Da doesn't think of himself as a hero at all, though he was just some guy trying to commit double unalive with his girlfriend and has now been brought to a strange world. Annette prepares to give him an inspiring speech to make him want to become a hero, but she is shocked when Da does his thing and overdoses on some sedation pills. Annette purifies the toxins from his body, but Da says that she's actually bothering him. Annette demands for Da to become a hero to fulfill his great mission of saving this world, but Da is just looking for a place to stop living. Da keeps chowing down on his pills, but Annette reminds him that he is the chosen one. Da points out that he never decided to be chosen, but Annette explains that the truck is actually an other-world selection truck. Among the many people in Da's old world living unhappy lives, only those struck by other world trucks get to redo their lives in this world. This is actually a world transfer service that her world provides. Being hit by the truck means that he was unhappy with his life, so he was granted a chance in this world. Da finishes up taking some more pills and he angrily points out that the stupid truck interfered with the happiest moment of his life, his double unalive. He points out that they don't have the right to decide who's unhappy, but from her point of view, he was saved from a life so unhappy that he was going to end it all. Ultimately, Ant decides that his complaining doesn't matter because Dal will surely change his mind when he sees his stats. Without exception, every human brought to her world is granted the ability to wield superhuman powers. However, she is shocked to find that Da is insanely weak. Not only does he only have one hit point, he is also poisoned even after she detoxified him. Annette refuses to believe that someone could be this weak, so she desperately searches to see if Da has some kind of special skill or exceptional ability. She is horrified to find that he has absolutely nothing and she has never seen such a weak otherworlder. The very sick-looking dog goes to leave, but Annette stops him and finally agrees that he must have been brought to this world by mistake. She determines that he won't be able to survive in this world, and she is shocked when Da finally shows some confidence and he declares that what she just said sounds a lot more like what his life is really about. Da explains that he is branded a failure no matter what world he lives in. Annette apologizes once again for the mistake and asks him to stay with her for a while. This world is incredibly dangerous and filled with monsters, so his life will surely end the second he steps outside. She is stunned, though, when Da tells her not to worry because he's looking for his final resting place anyway. The reason why Annette is so shocked is because Da is very different than all the others. Annette used to take pride in guiding other worlders and meeting them excited her. However, she started to realize how pretentious and arrogant they were. Soon she felt like her job was simply to flatter heroes over and over again, so she closed off her heart. However, her life has been turned upside down as Da is totally different. Da prepares to enter the dangerous new world, but Annette begs him to at least pick a profession first. Da declares that he doesn't need to pick a profession because he's a born writer, and he says goodbye to the girl that he says has beautiful ears as he leaves. Annette dramatically declares that she finally understands. The thing she has been waiting for was for this man to enter her life. Outside, Dar realizes that he can't read the writing in this world, but he can tell that there won't be any cafes for him to go to. Just then, a voice pops into his head and announces that Da has earned 5 experience points for discovering a new area. Da wishes the voice would stop as he suffers from migraines, but an even louder voice announces that Da has risen to level 2. Just then, a tree collapses and a girl screams as she is attacked by a monster. She begs Da to help her because he's an adventurer, but Da just stares at her and thinks about how a lot of people have weirdly shaped ears in this world. She keeps begging for his help, but Da just asks for her permission to write a novel about her. Da eventually realizes that she wants him to save her, so he tells her to give him a moment. Da makes a half-hearted attempt to reach out to her, but ultimately declares that he can't reach her. She asks him to use a sword or spell or something, but the monster just ends up taking a hold of Da as well. Da simply says that he can't breathe, and the girl explains that the tree is stealing their life force. They only have a few more minutes before their lives end, but she is shocked when Da says that that's good news. Da finds delight in his final moments and says goodbye to the world. The girl begs him not to give up, but Da is completely unresponsive. She is stunned that her life will end in such a strange way, but she is even more surprised when the tree is covered in darkness and it explodes. Da is shockingly still alive, much to his disappointment, and the voice announces that Da inflicted 300 damage with his poison. The girl is absolutely stunned as this great adventurer before her eliminated the monster by making it absorb his poison instead of his life force. Da rises to level 3 and the girl wonders if he poisons himself. She then wonders why he pretends to be weak when he is pretty strong, but he explains that this just always happens to him. He wants to stop existing, but somehow he ends up surviving. He has tried to stop living 5 times, but it has never gone right once. The girl has no clue why he's so depressed, but she is grateful that he saved her life, so she thanks him. She offers to take him to her place to rest and he introduces himself. When Da touches her hand, he is reminded of his girlfriend San and he wonders if she came to this world too. The girl then angrily tells him that her name is not San. She tries to tell him her real name, but Da is already in the clouds thinking about San. The girl gets frustrated as he ignores her, but he has a good reason. Da has just found a reason to live in this new world. He goes over his last memory with his girlfriend and declares that he will find San wherever she is in this world. His declaration isn't exactly what it seems, as he wants to find her so they can commit double unalive again. Back with Annette, she prays to the god of her world so that Da can be protected. She also wishes to meet him again one day, and she gets her wish as Da returns. She couldn't be happier to see him, but she is stunned when his new cat girlfriend is there too. Annette can't believe that he already has a girl companion, but she composes herself as Da has a question. He wants to know if Annette has met a girl named San. Annette is horrified to hear that a third woman is involved. Da leaves as Annette had no information about San, but the cat girl assures him that he will find her. She wants to stop by the castle town of Roth before going to her house, but she is shocked when Annette appears to stop her from holding hands with Da. Annette thinks it's shameless behavior, but the cat just wants to know why Annette came with them. Annette is too shy to answer, so the cat realizes that she must be in love with Da. Of course, Annette denies it and simply declares that it's her job to protect the weak otherworlder. And being an otherworlder makes the cat realize that that is why Da is so strong, but Annette points out that he's actually really weak. The two argue about how weak he is, but the cat reveals that Da defeated a monster and saved her life. Annette is horrified because saving her life means that they have gotten close and she angrily calls the girl a thieving cat. Just then, Da announces that he found something wonderful. He calls it a very comfortable bed, but it's actually a coffin and he tells the girls to wake him up when they arrive at the town. Da says goodnight to Annette and Tama, but the cat angrily points out that that isn't her name. Da is already fast asleep, though, and Annette sheepishly points out that Da called her the right name. Annette then takes on the task of dragging Da in his coffin, but Tama wonders if that's really her job as a clergy person.